Let me ask you something. When was the last time you read something and actually remembered it the next day? Not just the vague gist, not just, I read that somewhere, but full control, word-for-word concepts, razor-sharp clarity, instant recall? Probably never. Because here's the brutal truth. You were never taught how to read with the intention to remember. You were taught to read to finish, to highlight, to underline, to feel productive. But deep down, you know none of that really works. And that's not your fault. You were lied to. You were trained by a broken system that conditions you to consume information like a robot, not to absorb it, not to transform it into memory, but to choke on it and move on. But that ends now, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to take everything you thought you knew about reading and destroy it, so we can rebuild it from the ground up. You won't just read a page anymore. You'll own it, you'll master it, and most importantly, you'll remember it forever. Now, let me ask again, why do you forget what you read? The real reason isn't because your brain is bad or because you lack focus. It's because you never engage with the material on a survival level. Think about it. Your brain evolved to remember threats, rewards, pain, danger, deep patterns, not random ink on a page. So when you sit there passively scanning words in a textbook, your brain tunes out. It sees no reason to store anything, no importance, no relevance, no urgency. So it tosses it away. And here's the dangerous part. The more you read without remembering, the more your brain learns that forgetting is normal. You're literally training yourself to forget. Every book you read and don't recall, that's reinforcement. That's mental decay. And unless you break that loop now, it will only get worse. But here's the secret. Nobody tells you. Memory is not a gift. It's a technique. It's programmable. It's mechanical. It's brutal and precise when you understand how to trigger it. And that's what this video is about. I'm going to show you how to read in a way your brain cannot ignore. We're going to activate survival circuits. We're going to hijack your memory system. We're going to install mental hooks so deep into your brain that forgetting becomes impossible. No, this isn't about flashcards. It's not about spaced repetition. Those things come later. This is about how you consume information at the very first second, how you wire it in from the very beginning. So retention is automatic. By the end of this video, you won't be the same reader you were before. You'll start to notice you remember things without effort. Your recall will sharpen like a weapon. You'll start scaring yourself with how much you retain. And that's not motivation. That's not hype. That's programming. So if you're tired of forgetting everything you read, if you're done wasting your time flipping through books you don't even remember, stay exactly where you are. Because what you're about to learn will rewire the way you read, the way you think, the way you learn, permanently. Let's begin. Technique 1. The why matrix. Anchor emotion to every page. Let me ask you this. When you read, do you know why you're reading it? I'm not talking about the shallow reason, for school, to learn, because I should. I mean a visceral, emotional reason. Because if you don't feel anything while reading, your brain has no reason to keep it. Here's the truth. Emotion is memory glue. Your brain evolved to remember things that are tied to feelings: fear, anger, curiosity, urgency, power, status. So when you read dry, bland information without triggering a powerful why, you're feeding your brain empty calories. Before you read even a single word, ask yourself, why does this matter to me personally? Not in theory, but right now. Ask, how will this information change my reality? What pain will it protect me from? What power will it give me over others? What will I suffer if I forget this? If you can't answer that, your brain will forget it. If you can, you've just lit a fire under the page. This is called the why matrix. It's your internal emotional detonator. You do this before every chapter, every topic, every page, and suddenly, information becomes personal, urgent, unforgettable. Technique 2. The cinematic mode. Turn text into mental film. Words on a page are dead, unless you bring them to life. Let me expose another lie you were taught. You don't read to memorize words. You read to visualize meaning. The human brain isn't designed to memorize text. It's designed to simulate reality. When something becomes real in your mind, your brain records it. When it stays as abstract text, your brain deletes it. So here's what you do. As you read, force your brain into cinematic mode. You imagine you are inside the scene. Every concept becomes a picture. Every sentence becomes a sequence. Every paragraph becomes a mental movie. You don't just read, "The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell." You imagine a roaring power plant inside a biological city, firing energy, fueling operations, like a high-tech factory inside you. This sounds simple, but it's not. It's a skill. It takes training. But once you unlock it, your brain becomes a recording device. You'll retain scenes, not just sentences. And scenes? They're unforgettable. Technique 3. Verbal looping. Speak it to store it. Here's the manipulation trick your teachers never told you. Your mouth is the gateway to your memory. When you say what you read, your brain creates a feedback loop. The information travels through multiple pathways: visual, auditory, and verbal. It multiplies retention, but not just any speaking. You need to paraphrase out loud, in your own words, every few paragraphs. This is called verbal looping. It forces your brain to process, not just absorb. Because the second you try to explain something, your brain is forced to organize, encode, and lock it in. Reading silently? That's what average people do. Reading out loud, translating into your own language, using your own emotion? That's what memory assassins do. And trust me, after a few days of doing this, you'll start reciting entire ideas without even trying. Technique 4. The 10-3-1 protocol. Cut the fat, keep the core. Let me be brutally honest. You don't need to remember everything you read. That's a trap, a distraction, a lie. You need to remember the core 1%, the ideas that dominate the rest, the truth bombs that change the game, the laws, not the trivia. Here's how you find them. After reading anything, take 10 seconds to summarize the top 3 key ideas in your own words. Then, cut it down to one dominant truth, the idea that controls the others. This is called the 10-3-1 protocol. Why does it work? Because your brain doesn't work well with overload, but it does work with hierarchies. If you feed it one powerful, connected, central idea, everything else falls into place. You're not memorizing, you're mastering. And masters remember because they know what to ignore. Technique 5. Memory scarcity. Read like you'll never see it again. This will sound harsh, but it's the final weapon. You forget because you think you'll see it again. So your brain says, why bother? But what if you trained your mind to believe you only get one chance to absorb, one chance to understand, one chance to retain? This is memory scarcity. You pretend, no matter what, that the page in front of you will vanish forever after one read. You either own it now or lose it forever. This radical urgency rewires how you read. You slow down, you question, you visualize, you paraphrase, you respect the page. And guess what? Your brain begins to hold on to information like it's life or death. Because to your mind, it is. Now, you've been exposed. You've seen how deep the programming goes. You've seen how broken your old reading habits were. And you've seen exactly how to rewire your brain to remember everything you read. But remember, this isn't about trying, it's about replacing. You must delete the old habits and install these new ones like a mental operating system. Once you do, you'll never read the same way again. You won't just understand, you'll remember, effortlessly, automatically, permanently. Now tell me this, which one of these techniques hit you the hardest? Which one exposed a lie you've been living with your whole life? Type it in the comments, right now. Don't just watch and scroll. If you write it, you lock it in. If you share it, you own it. And if you've been reading the wrong way your entire life, just say it. I've been lied to. Let it out. This is your reset moment. I'm reading every single comment. Let's rebuild your brain together.